number 31 in this special countdown is a song by the singer who didn't want to sing it. He said he didn't like it. But Burt Bacharach, the composer, coaxed, wheedled, implored, pestered, sweet-talked, and finally persuaded B.J. Thomas to record the song. And on January 3rd, 1970, it became the first number one song of the decade and even won an Oscar. From the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, the first number one song of the 70s, and it ranks at number 31 in our special end of the decade countdown.
Number 15.
Here's a song that almost didn't get recorded because the singer and the songwriter-producer couldn't agree on how it should be done, to a point where the singer walked out. It was B.J. Thomas. His manager followed him out, talked to him, calmed him down, and persuaded him that maybe this record producer knew what he was doing, and it might not hurt to go along with him. Well, what the heck, said B.J. I'll give it one more shot. So he walked back into the studio, went up to the producer, and said, Burt, because that's what everybody calls Burt Bacharach, let's do it your way. So they did, and wound up with the 15th biggest hit of the past 17 years.
Raindrops are falling on my
Casey's Coast to Coast. Billboard's number one.
The composers of this song are without a doubt the most popular and sought-after songwriting team in the business today. And their list of hits reads like an almanac of top tunes. I'll Never Fall in Love Again, The Look of Love, This Guy's in Love with You, Do You Know the Way to San Jose, Alfie, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and a lot more. You get the feeling that Burt Bacharach and Hal David don't know how to write anything but hit songs.
American Top 40.
Well, the number 2 song of 1970 was written 6 years ago by the biggest songwriting team in the business and filed away. But when Hal David and Burt Bacharach caught the performance of a new brother and sister duo, they dug out the old lead sheet and asked the pair to record it. The result was a song that hit number 1 and stayed there for 4 weeks. Here are Karen and Richard Carpenter with the second most popular song of 1970, Close to You.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near?
In Hollywood, this is American Top 40. I'm Casey Kasem. Now, we're up to the new hit by the super singer and super songwriter who were reunited after more than 10 years of refusing to even speak to one another. The team who gave us Do You Know the Way to San Jose, I'll Never Fall in Love Again, and I Say a Little Prayer, some of the most memorable hits of the 60s. Of course, I'm talking about Dionne Warwick and Burt Bacharach. In 1974, after more than 20 top 40 hits together, their partnership came to an end. There were lawsuits over business dealings, and for more than 10 years, Dionne and Burt weren't even on speaking terms. Then, in 1985, something happened. A top television producer managed to help heal old wounds. This TV producer is Aaron Spelling, known for such hit TV shows as The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Dynasty, just to mention 3. A couple of years ago, he had a new series called Finder of Lost Loves. Aaron Spelling asked Burt Bacharach to write the show's theme song, and he suggested that Dionne sing it. Well, even though that TV series only ran for a short time, it did put former longtime partners Burt and Dionne back together. Then, last year, working with Burt's wife, Carol Bayer Sager, they created a giant smash. Dionne singing with Elton John, Stevie Wonder, and Gladys Knight took it to the top, and it became the number 1 song of 1986. The song? That's What Friends Are For. Now, Dionne and Burt are back with a new hit. Dionne Warwick sings it with Jeffrey Osborne. Written and produced by Burt Bacharach and Carol Bayer Sager, up 9 notches to number 31 in American Top 40, Love Power.
Casey's Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem. Well, now we're up to Oasis, a hard-rocking band whose rebellious lead guitarist once found musical happiness performing with legendary composer Burt Bacharach. Much has been written about Oasis and the do-it-our-way, take-it-or-leave-it attitude of the band's leaders, Liam and Noel Gallagher. But as contemporary as their sound may be, the brothers, and brother Noel Gallagher in particular, admire the sounds that have come before them. For starters, their music is filled with references to and influences from the Beatles. But Noel says one of his great idols is a singer and composer whose career in music began in the early 60s. He's Burt Bacharach, the man who co-wrote classic hits in the 60s for Dionne Warwick. Hits like Do You Know the Way to San Jose, I Say a Little Prayer, and Walk On By, as well as #1 songs for other acts like Close to You, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and This Guy's in Love with You. Burt's music has remained popular well into the 90s thanks to the recent cult success of retro lounge culture films like Swingers and Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. And last year, when Noel heard that Burt Bacharach was performing in London, he did everything he could to meet the music legend. After the two talked a while, Noel asked Burt if he could do a song on stage with him. And that's how in June of last year, Noel ended up side by side with Burt singing This Guy's in Love with You before a sold-out auditorium. It's a moment that Noel says was pure perfection for him.
Casey